Hello, everyone. My name is EJ Gideon, and today I'm going to be basically showing you guys how to trade on the desktop. Keep in mind that this is just one platform that we are using. There are several, I guess, like several places we can go to trade. So we're using bitmex today. This is my first time actually using these guys, but I found that it's actually easier to show some things on here. So let's jump on. Okay, so basically when you go to the website bitmex.com, you would see all these options. Obviously, it wants you to register, sign up, log in, all that other stuff. But since I'm not registered with bitmex, it allows me to actually I can use this to demonstrate certain things, right? So on here, we're going to use Bitcoin as an example. It's a good day for Bitcoin since it's actually 45,000 right now. So it doesn't allow you to click here. So what we're going to do is just click right here where it says trade now, and then it takes us to this page here. So on this page, I know there's a bunch of stuff here and it looks confusing. So basically, what we're going to focus on right now is looking at these charts right here in the middle, right? We're going to focus on looking at this chart. There's so many numbers. I know it's confusing to a lot of people, especially if it's your first time. However, you stay with me here. I'm going to break this down, okay? So right here, there's this arrow. So I'm going to click on this to maximize full screen, okay? So now it's fuller than normal. Okay, so I'm sure we can probably even see here. Sometimes some apps allow you to even make it even bigger. Okay, so we can move this. We can move this, right? So what we are seeing here is our chart, right? This is our chart that we're going to be looking at and studying, right? So right now, what we're seeing is a daily representation of what's happening with Bitcoin. So if we move all the way down here, you see, look down here, it tells you the date, the year. So this is 2023, and then this is January 2023, and this is February. So we can move this and then look at each day, go all the way back, right? So, and we'll see why it's important, right? So let's see here. Okay. And you can move it either up or down, right? That's cool because sometimes you might have one crazy big candle and you need to see. Okay, so now let's bring this right here. So one of the things that we need to understand, one of the things that I use that really helps me is, okay, so when you come on, a lot of times you don't see anything, right? I put this here already. A lot of times this is how it looks, right? So here, it tells you, if you click on it, it tells you minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. So you can click on here and it tells you what's going on in every minute. You can look at the chart per minute. You can look at the chart, what's happening in an hour representation. And then you can look, whatever it is listed on here, right? So I like to use 4 hours. I like to use 4 hours and daily, right? Sometimes I look at the week. Sometimes it's good to look at what's happening in a month. So this is the monthly representation, right? And it looks, it's hard to make sense of this because of the platform, right? So in that case, would either stick to, and let's just look at it. Let's look at 1 month. So this is 1 month. This is okay. So this is daily. So we're looking at daily right now. Okay. So we'll start with daily, explaining what happens every day, and then we can either go into the hourly, monthly, whatever it is that we need to go into, right? Okay. So here, let's make sure it's on daily. So here, it says candle. Right here, it says candles. So if you click on it, you see holo candles, columns, lines. So a lot of platforms come like this, right? Like Robinhood. When you look at Robinhood, it looks like this. And a lot of people can't make sense of it because it's just lines, right? So this is where you see if your platform gives you the option of switching. I like to stick to candlesticks. Some people use holo candles, candlesticks. So basically, there's even bars, but I never really use bars. So just candlesticks. So like I explained earlier, when it's green, usually it means it's bullish. And when it's red, it's bearish, right? So when it's green, means it was going down. And sorry, when it's green means it's going up, and when it's red means it's going down. Okay, so let's see if I can put it on 4 hour here. Yeah, and it actually tells you on here 4 hour, right? Which that's pretty, I think is really cool. Okay, so I'll put it on daily. Okay, so another thing that I really like to use that helps me to trade and make good decisions is indicators. I spoke about this in my other class, first class actually, when I explained moving averages. I explained averages, and I explained mean, median, mode, everything for those of you who are not so good in statistics. So basically, those are called indicators or indices or indexes. And what that means is that they are tools that or formulas that help us to determine what's going on in the market, right? So when you click on this, right, you see several tools here. Right now, I'm not expecting you to know all these tools. What I'm going to show you is a couple of them that I use. So many of them is hard to break down mathematically how they actually work, but I can tell you we can compare, we can look at them. Since a lot of us are brand new into this, we can look at them and see how helpful they are. One of the ones that I like to use is called RSI, Relative Strength Index, right? So when you click on it, it shows up down here, Relative Strength Index, right? And I'm not going to bore you guys with the mathematical definition about convergence and divergence, but basically, when you look at this RSI, right, you want to compare this RSI, what's going on with this RSI. Look at the line, right? It's moving along this. So what's going on with this RSI? You want to compare it with your candlesticks, right? And a lot of times you're looking here, right? So right now, our RXI right now is 66.53 for today, right? So we are looking at it, right? And it goes all the way up here to 75, and it can come all the way down here to 50. There's a line here. This line right here, right, is 50, and the line right here is 70, right? This line. I hope that you can see that. So a lot of times we look what's happened here in the RSI historically, and you see where it's pointing up, meaning Bitcoin is going up. And that's a good sign. A lot of people, when they see the RSI pointing up, they will tell you, yes, that it's bullish. And then when you look historically here, we can see it came all the way up here to 79. And then if you look back here, it came all the way up here to 80, I believe this is 86, right? Or 84, 86. So we're looking at this and we're looking how low it's come. So it's come as low as 19. And when was this? This happened in August 18, 2023. So we're comparing all these things, right? So, but typically we want it to be in between 70 and right here, 70 and 30, right? 70 and 30, and this is the middle. So 50 is the middle, right? So when it's bullish, a lot of times it's going up all the way here. And some people would, when it passes 70, a lot of people would consider this to be oversold. When it comes below 30, a lot of people will call it undersold. So this is a good, when you see it down here, it's a good time to buy. Although a lot of people will be scared. A lot of people will be scared because they believe, oh, it's going to keep going lower and lower. A lot of times when it's up here, there is some fear. People start to pull out. People start to feel like, well, this is oversold. and it's time for me to sell. Or some people get greedy and get excited and want to jump in, right? Jump in on the train ride. So this is the daily representation of the RSI. If we come back here where we set this on daily and switch it to 4 hour, the RSI changes. So now look at the RSI, right? So obviously it has passed 70, right, on the 4 hour, and it's right here 76. So this helps you to make, and that's cool. It helps you to make a decision on whether or not you want to buy or sell, because a lot of people will look at this right here and say, well, look, it came up the way here and it's probably going to start coming down. So this relative strength, right? Relative strength is, think about it this way, right? Relative strength index is related to the buying pressure. How much people are buying, right? So sometimes Bitcoin could be, let's say it was at 30,000 and it went up to 60,000. If more people came in, right? If there's more volume, sometimes the RSI, you're expecting it to be through the roof. You're expecting the RSI to be somewhere here, but it might be down here because of how much people have come in, right? So you take your time to do your own due diligence to understand the definition if you're interested in what exactly it means, but I can tell you how it works, right? It's like a calculator. A lot of people know how to use a calculator, but they don't know how a calculator is made. Okay, so that's the 4 hour. So another indicator I like to use here is MACD. MACD. So this is a popular one as well, right? So this is the MACD right here. And you see them, it says here RSI, MACD. If you want to delete this, you can come here, click this, and then remove. And then boom, RSI is gone. So, but we're going to bring it back because we like using the RSI. And if you type it here, it comes up. But you can also just scroll down and there's a bunch of stuff, right? It's the relative strength index. Okay, so it's back, right? So now we have this MACD, right? It's another key one, right? Because a lot of times you look right here where you can see it's red. The red here indicates that there was a dip, meaning that the market sold and it came down. And the green here indicates that there was a high buy, strong buy, and the market went up, right? So a lot of times when it's up, people start to think, well, it's gone up and it's going to start coming down. And look what's happening here on the 4 hour. It's gone up. Some people believe it's going to start coming down, right? So this is very important for people that trade on an hourly basis, or there's people who trade daily, people who trade monthly. If you trade on an hourly basis and you want to know when to get out, on a 4 hour basis, for instance, this is a good time to get out, right? You want to buy when you see it red. When it's red, right, you come in, you buy, you place your buy, and then you wait until you get to this point. Now, this is for 4 hour people that trade on a 4 hour basis. Doesn't necessarily mean the market is bearish long term. So let's switch this up to 1 hour, for instance. So same thing here. Look, the RSI in the 1 hour here is right now 81. If you look all the way down there, it says 81, right? And then if you look, it was once as low as 36, right? So here, a lot of people trading hourly would sell and wait until it comes down here, right? And then they buy back. So this is how people trade daily, right? So if you want to be a daily trader, this is one of the key indicators, the RSI. So we're comparing it to the MACD, and you see, like I explained earlier, when it's green and you can see that it has peaked, you can see the MACD showing that it has, the MACD has a peak right here, roughly here, right? And it starts coming down, right, to its trough, right? Now, sometimes you may think this is the peak and then it even peaks even more and it peaks even higher. So, but it depends on if you're willing to take that chance and take that risk. So if you like, we can look at the 30 minutes and you can see, like I explained, The RSI came up here and it's coming down, right? So there's people who like to trade every 5 minutes, right? And you can see it came up here and it's come down. And some people would, you see here, the MACD is red, right? So some people are okay with buying here. Some people want this. Some people actually want this line you're seeing right here. Some people want this line to actually touch on the red, right? Just like it did here, right? Once it touches somewhere here, then it's a good time to buy. And they're also comparing it to the RSI here, right? So let's bring this back here to, let's say, I haven't looked at the 12 hours. So 12 hour, look at the RSI. It's spiking up, right? So a lot of people would be waiting until it gets up all the way here because they've looked at, this is why we want to look at the past, right? When we're trading in statistics, you want to look at the past, what happened historically, right? You go back to November 2023, this is October 2023, and you see what happened here. And then we can move this here, we can move this here so we can see it better. So we can come all the way here and see how it went up and down. So some people might even count the days from here where it came down to here where it was down again, right? And then here when it comes down again. So to know how long it stays up, how frequent it happens. So some people will count this, right? And like this right here, they count the amount of red days and count the amount of bullish days, right? So let's put this, let's see if there's another indicator that I like to use, and it's called, I'm not going to explain all the indicators that I know, and but I'm going to explain enough to where you can make the right decisions. So moving average, right? So if I click on that, it shows up, right? So this, you can see here, there is a line now. I hope everyone can see this line. There's a line. Let's put it on 30 minutes. Okay, it's not so clear. So there's this blue line right here. You can see this blue line, right? This blue line is the average of all those days, right? So if we add up since Bitcoin was created, right? Since Bitcoin was created, right? The averages of all the every day since it was created, this is the averages, right? So I explained averages and why it's so important, and this is it, right? We can see it. That, like, for instance, right here, Bitcoin touched the average and then it went up. So we want it to be, sometimes some people would say that if it's far away from the average, then that there's, if it's too high, like say, look what happened here. Let's look what happened here, June 18, 2023, right? It came up and it went all the way up here. And then the average of, as you can see, the blue line kept going this way. So people expected it to at some point come here and consolidate. So it came up here. This is now a good buying zone. It's consolidated. Oh, it came down. But as it's coming down, it met with the line somewhere here again, right? So a lot of people would calculate this and trade based off the moving average. So we're looking at a combination of things, right? If you look, now this is the daily. Now look what's going on here. Look at the MACD. It looks so bullish because the last time this happened, look right here. There was a cross. The last time this happened, and you can see the green days are just starting. And look at how high Bitcoin is. Bitcoin right now is 46,900. The price is right here. And look how high, and yet it's just about to turn green, right? And the RSI is pointing up. So this is a very bullish sign, right? So if you look here and you compare it to what happened here, right? And you see what happened, how it spiked up. It came up here, went up. So we can say very likely this would happen again and it will go up even higher. So we're looking at that. We can go all the way. Same here. Look at what happened here when the MACD, the RSI was low, it was pointing up, this was a perfect time to buy. But a lot of people will probably be afraid because it's like, oh, it's coming down, it's dropping. The price was probably, the price was here, and it tells you the prices on this right here. This 0 means opening, H means high, L means low, and C means close. So basically what it means is when the day starts, this is the opening price, this is the highest price that it came at that day, and this is the low. Like right now, when you don't have it on anything, when I take it off the screen, it tells you the price, the opening price for today, the highest price that it's gone to today, the lowest price that it has been today, and then the closing price. So it tells you everything right here in these places. So the same thing here, when you click on each day, it tells you what's happening, what happened, right? How low it went, how high it went, and the opening and the closing day. So we're looking at all these things right here. Like I said, this is a perfect entry point, right? Because we're seeing the RSI very low. The RSI came down here to 29, and it came down here to 29, and then here, the MACD was also, at a trough. It was at a trough, at a valley, and then a perfect time to come into the market. And then look what happened here the next day. It started going up, and it started going up. Okay, so let's move this here. I wish I can zoom this, but this is my first time using this platform. So let's see. If I double click, perfect. If I double click, it allows us to see, but it takes away all our indicators. So let's put that back this way. Yeah. So it's not very clear, but hopefully whatever platform you're using to trade would be easier to visualize, right? Maybe I'll have to revisit this, but given the surge in the market, there's a lot of demand for me to make this video right now. So I'm doing it. Okay, so here on the moving average, right? So this is the moving average right here. Just like we have this dot right here, when you click on the RSI and come here, you click on the MACD, you can come here in the moving averages and click on it, and then it gives you options, right? All these options, you can decide to move them and play with it when you have the time and find out what they do. But you can come here in settings, right? And look, what it's telling us is this is the 9-day moving average, right? This is the 9-day moving average. So we can change this to 50. I like to use 100 or 200. Let's say 200, right? And then you can see when you change it to 200, look, it's far away. It's far away. This was the last time it touched it and it came, right? So some people would say, whoa, this is not so bullish that it might fall all the way down here to this price, to 33,000, right? People might say that, right? That this is, so sometimes you might want to make multiple moving averages and compare all of them. Another way you can make multiple is by you go back to the indicator and click on it again and moving average. And then another one would form. So this is another one, right? So now we have two. We have one here and another one here, right? So if we click on this one, if we click on settings, we can change this to 50. So now we have 100 here and we have 50 here, right? So you can add so many of them. So now if you look at the 50, looks more accurate, right? The 50 looks more accurate because it's going in line with the 50 more than the 100. So some people you can decide to add another moving average here. Moving average, you can add another one. And then settings. So we use 50, so let's use 20 here. So 20. So then look, even the 20 is even more precise, right? Now, you can change all these colors right here, like blue, light blue, dark blue, whatever it is you want. I'm sure you can change them if you right click, visual order and all this stuff. I'm sure you can, yeah, you can change all that stuff, right? Just feel free to play with it, right? And find out what it does. So obviously, if you're going to trade, you have to register and then click trade. But just wanted to explain these basic things. Another thing that I talked about in the last class is online was I talked about the patterns, right? And it's very important to, let's look at the patterns here, right? It's very important to make this comparison. And this platform doesn't actually represent well enough for us to explain patterns. I'm trying to look for a good view so that way we can, let's see. And sometimes you don't want to cluster yourself with so many indicators. If you have so many of these indicators and you feel like it's making a mess, you can just delete them, right? So let's see here. It says remove. So it looks better. So now we can look at each pattern and we can remove this one because it's not allowing us to see the whole screen, right? Let's see here. Maximize panel. Yeah, it's not allowing us to see. So we might delete this one, MACD, right? So let's remove this one. So a lot of times here, you can see what's happening here. You can see this W forming here, right? So some people might right here would say, well, it came here, it went up, came up here, and then it's likely going to end up here. But obviously that was wrong, right? Now, it all depends on how you're looking at it. You want to look at the whole picture, right? Trying to see if, yeah, so okay, so playing with this because I haven't really used bitmex before, but it's super cool. I don't think it's actually allowed in my location. It says based on your current location, I'm being restricted. So that's something you also realize. Several areas allow several firms to function and not to function depending on you, whatever the policy or how they agree with the government. So let's stop here for today. I would have to look for a different platform so I can better explain patterns and a platform that shows these candlesticks clearer and the patterns. All right, thank you very much.